The United stand, finally, we're live. You'll know what I mean if you've been watching live. Right, James Rodriguez, Fabinho, Willian, Matic, Neymar, Rooney, a new Manchester United signing and much, much more. We've got to get on with this show. Finally, it looks like we will be. There's loads and loads to discuss, and also a bonus game for you, the United stand viewers, on this last weekend of the Premier League. Hopefully everything's working. Let's fly straight into it. So, James Rodriguez to Manchester United. It's been a very, very odd week in relation to James Rodriguez. It's divided fans. Some of us not really sure whether we need him. Some people absolutely wanting him. All I'd say is the wand of a left foot is copyrighted by me. I've been saying it for a long time, and he does have a wand of a left foot, and if Mourinho signed him, he'd be a very, very good acquisition for us. I just think he's probably 6th or 7th in line in relation to what we actually need at Manchester United at this moment in time. But what is the twist in relation to James Rodriguez? Well, it broke at the start of the week that he was apparently signing, and that was obviously caused to Sky Sports and Balaguer, who really I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him, and with my back, that's not very far. But there was news that after this Sunday, tomorrow, he's going to announce his future, which for me is a bit weird when Real Madrid have a Europa Champions League final to come. That reminds me, actually, I had a dream last night that we were playing Real Madrid in the Super Cup. Hopefully that is a good sign, because that will happen if Real Madrid wins the Champions League and we win the Europa League. But sticking to the subject matter, Rodriguez wants to leave Real Madrid. He wants to come to Manchester United. I believe that his agent and the people around him in Real Madrid have mixed this Manchester United news story up because they'd like to sell to us because they want De Gea, Real Madrid. Rodriguez would like to come to Manchester United because we're a big club. And his agent would like him to come to Manchester United because it's a big signing on fee. And obviously his agent is Jorge Mendes, who is Mourinho's agent as well. And I don't know why I'm talking like that. But another thing that is very important if you've seen it is that Manchester United board and hierarchy would like Rodriguez to come to Manchester United as well. James Rodriguez is absolutely massive. Massive. Not really in the UK. I mean, we all know who he is, but around South America and worldwide, he's got a big appeal. I mean, he's not on the scale of a Ronaldo, a Neymar, or Messi, but he's very, very popular. And obviously, South America, Colombia, he's huge. So if Manchester United were to sign him, it was a bit like the Falcao deal. The revenue, the merchandise, absolutely massive. I mean, I was talking to somebody this week about Manchester United, who they're a bit old school, fanzine, everything like that. Fantastic. That's what Manchester United is about. It's a big part of them. But Manchester United are a global brand now, and whilst some fans like the locality of Manchester United and they put more weight on if you go to games and if you are a local, etc., there's nothing wrong with that. That's just an opinion. I said to them, look, that's fine, but Manchester United, the football club, if they were offered 1 million Liverpool fans tomorrow for £1 million, and there'll be lifetime Manchester United fans, they'll take them, because that's what Manchester United, the brand, is all about. You can't knock that. They want the global support. They want more fans to support Manchester United. So James Rodriguez as a global attraction would be huge, absolutely huge. Add into that, and this is probably the biggest thing that I've sort of noticed, is Adidas. He's sponsored by Adidas. Who else is sponsored by Adidas? Of course, they would love Rodriguez to come to Manchester United, but I really do think Rodriguez to Manchester United depends on one thing, and that is what happens on Wednesday night. If we win the Europa League, then we're in the Champions League, and I think we get what we want. If we don't win the Europa League and we're stuck in the Europa League next season with no Champions League football, I don't think we get everybody we want. Maybe not Griezmann, maybe not the star signing I'm about to talk about, but Rodriguez, I think, will come to Manchester United regardless. And I really do think that a lot depends on whether we're in the Europa League or whether we're in the Champions League when it comes to James Rodriguez. So that's my opinion on it. It is just an opinion. Don't know what yours is, but look, if we get him, great, but I think 6 or 7 other signings are more important to me. Willian, we'll talk about next, and lots to talk about today. Willian, Chelsea right winger, can play left wing, can play at number 10 at a push. Good free kick. Look, I said about Willian last summer, before the minute we got Mourinho, I put Willian in my top 5 Manchester United signings that we might make, because he's been speaking this week. We know a couple of weeks ago Chelsea have said they're open to offers for Willian, and he's been saying this week that he's worked under some special managers, but he has a special relationship with Jose Mourinho and holds him up in the highest esteem in relation to people he's worked with. So I mean, they're big indicators that he would like to play with Mourinho again. Varane has said the same thing at Real Madrid. If Chelsea are willing to sell and Willian wants to come to us, I would take him tomorrow. Look, I know a lot of you would be like, don't want Willian, he's 29 in August. I don't think he's good enough. He's not what I want. He's not the Galactico, etc., etc. But we can't have Galactico signings for everything. We've said this quite a lot. We said it on the Skype Goldbridge. A couple of you said it the other week. We need the grafters. We need the grafters. We need the Valencias, the Herreras, because they're the people that actually, you know, when the Galacticos don't turn up or don't have a great game or they get snuffed out, it's the grafters who get the points. So Willian would be what I would call a grafter. I think we need a right-sided player, 100%. He understands the Mourinho way of playing, that when you've got the ball, you attack and you get at the opposition, and he's got the skills and the ability to do that. But when you haven't got the ball, you get back and you defend and you work hard. And rather than taking a risk on somebody he's never worked with before, I think Willian, Premier League proven as well, would be absolutely perfect. I mean, Mark Ojo saying I really don't want him. To be honest with you, if we could get him for like £20 million, he's 29, like I say, in August. Look, we're going to get the Galactico signings. We know that's going to happen, but we need a wide player who is capable of putting a decent ball into the box, who can run at people, and is hardworking. And Lingard's never going to be that player as far as I'm concerned, so Willian would be perfect. Fabinho. Oh, well, I've got to whiz through because there's loads to talk about. Fabinho. I've said this before. I'm not going to move away from it. The news with Fabinho is this, that Manchester City, there's somebody who's leaked that Manchester City are very close to signing Fabinho, and it's the same person who leaked Nolito, Sane, and a couple of other signings that Man City made last year. So it's looking like it could be quite credible. I think is the equivalent of Di Marzio for City. And you know, that disappoints me, I've got to say. But I'm not the manager of Manchester United. You're not the manager of Manchester United. What I said a couple of weeks ago is that people talk about Mendy and they talk about Bakayoko and they talk about Silva and they talk about Mbappe from Monaco and who they'd like to sign. And I said, look, the most important signing for me from Monaco would be Fabinho, because he fits what we need. We need a centre defensive midfielder, but also he can play centre back, and he's a very good right back. Well, we've got Valencia next year, but if we had an injury, you could play Fabinho there. But we need a centre defensive midfielder, and I think Fabinho would have been perfect. And he was the signing I thought we were going to make, because like James Rodriguez, he is an agent. His agent is Jorge Mendes, same agent as Mourinho. So we could get that deal done. If he's going to Manchester City, what I would say is, it's like if James Rodriguez goes to Liverpool this summer. You know, bit of an Alan Partridge shrug. Because if Manchester United want to sign Rodriguez, we get Rodriguez. If Manchester United want to sign Fabinho, we get Fabinho. We were linked to him last summer. Fabinho would come to Manchester United if we wanted him because of the link we've got with his agent. If we're not in for him, we're clearly not in for him, and that's disappointing because I think he's perfect, exactly what we need. We need a centre defensive midfielder like that who he can break the play up, but he's good on the ball. You know, Man City have already got players like this. It annoys me a bit because they've already got that Fernandinho or whatever his name is, and he does that job very well for Man City. And I think that sort of player, that Kante, is exactly what United need. And Fabinho would be very good at that, but we're not in for him. So we're clearly not in for him. If we were in for him, I think he'd be absolutely perfect for us. I mean, Anodar Joshi says maybe we're in for Renato Sanchez. Well, look, if we're in for Sanchez, great. But I'm a little bit disappointed we're not in for Fabinho. Obviously, I'm not a Manchester City fan, but if Manchester City are in for him, I'm not going to suddenly say he's crap because I think he'd be perfect for Manchester United. So that's disappointing about Fabinho. Neymar, just very quickly, I want to talk about Neymar. Neymar's dad has said that he should move to Manchester United because it would be the perfect signing for Manchester United in relation to he would be the star man, and he's got concerns about him at Barcelona because Messi's going to be there for a few more years and he's in his shadow and he should go to a club where he is the star player. You know what? I've also heard that he's got a bit of a party lifestyle, Neymar. Look, Neymar would cost £200 million straight away. That's what Neymar would cost. And I know we'd all get excited, but I don't think I want Neymar at Manchester United, which sounds ridiculous. You could make a meme or a gif out of that, but it does sound ridiculous. But £200 million would be a massive proportion of our massive portion of our transfer budget. And again, like Rodriguez, we need different players to that before we go and get that sort of player. Neymar signs for Manchester United. We use all our transfer budget on him. He pulls his hamstring or does his knee. He's out for a season, and we're still in the same position. We need a centre back. We need a centre defensive midfielder. We need a number 9. We need a wide man. We need a number 10. We might need a goalkeeper. We need a number of positions before we go and get him, and that is my issue with Neymar. I don't think it's going to happen, but yeah, that would be my issue with him. I want to talk about Rooney, but also I just want to bring this in now. It's perfect time to do it, actually. Last Premier League game of the season. Link in the video description. We've got a little offer for you in relation to a new game, which is fantasy football. Let me get it up on the screen for you now. There we go. So it's Fantasy Feeder, and it's a brand new fantasy football game that you can play on a weekly basis. And it's a new offer they've given us. Everyone will get a bonus £5 bet. That is the page you'll go to on the link description. You can download it as an app, or you can do it on a desktop, which is what I'm doing at the moment. When it loads up, it's logged me out. Let me log in. But the way this will work when it gets it working is. Let me come back to you. Live TV and all that. Live TV. That's not what you want to see. Yeah, the way this works is you pick a 7-a-side side for 1 week, and you go into a league, and you will get the opportunity to win whatever the purse for that league is. But like I say, this week, I mean, I've entered it. I'll show you how I've done it. But you get a free £5 entry anyway. So you can sign up on your email with a desktop. You can sign up on an app as well, and it's basically picking your 7-a-side side. You've got certain positions you need to pick from. You can't just pick 5 strikers. You've got to pick like a goalkeeper, a couple of defenders, a couple of midfielders, a couple of strikers, which I will show you in a moment as soon as I've signed on for you there. I don't want you to see what my login is. Okay, let me log on. Okay, let me come back. Oh, don't you just love live TV? Okay, so I'm in. It loads up. Okay, so there you go. So as you can see, as soon as you've entered, you'll get your £5. I've already spent £3 on mine, but you can come down to your entry fee. So if I had £2 leagues, which I've got £2 left, I've already entered one. But there you've got the Chris Sutton free roll. You can enter that league. But this one here, let's have a look. Premier League on Sunday, £1 entry, prize pool £62 and 5 pence. So I'm going to enter that one. This entry for this tournament is £1. Enter the tournament, that's fine, because I've obviously got, I'll have £1 now left. And then what you do is you just pick your team. You've got a salary remaining of 120,000. So Eden Hazard is 29,000. So we'll add him in. And Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, I need a goalkeeper as well. You wouldn't pick De Gea because he's not going to be playing. So let's go with Lloris. 2 defenders. Koscielny and Nathaniel Klein, and I still need a midfielder and a forward, so Kevin De Bruyne, and then my forward's going to have to be quite cheap, obviously, because I've only got 12,000 left, so let me just, I don't know, James Rodriguez, yeah, that's okay, I'll go with that, save lineup. Oh, I've exceeded my lineup by some distance there, so let's get Hazard out, midfielder. I've only got 6 left. I've messed this. I'm going to go back and change it at some point, but you get the gist. Save your lineup. That's my team. I'm in that league. You go into the locker room. And you can have a look around at what's upcoming and what tournaments you are in. And if you wanted to see, like, I'm in this tournament here. I'm also in one, which is the Premier League on Sunday. Entry fee was £3. Prize pool £224.40. And essentially, you can play it on your app. You can play it on your desktop. 7 players, 1 goalkeeper, 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, 2 strikers. Very much like fantasy football. If you want to see the rules as to how you score the points, there you can go to the rules there, and it will give you 1 goalkeeper, 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, 2 forwards, and the scoring system is explained there, calculated according to parameters by Opta Sports. goal scorers, assists, and everything like that. So the rules are there. Let me go back to play now. So I'm in the Premier League on Sunday 1, and my username is Goldbridge. Currently there are 88 players, £224 pool. You get £5 free bet just by signing up, like I say. And I've also gone into that £2 one as well, which is the Premier League on Sunday, a £1 entry. So I've still got £1. You can enter up to 5 lineups in it. So good little laugh. Video description. Last weekend of the season, obviously. Let me get back. A little bit of a fun game for us all to take part in, which I think you'll all enjoy. There we go. So get involved. As you can see, have a lot watch back at the end of the video. Link in the video description. You've got a free £5 bet to do that. You don't even have to put any of your own money in, and you could win yourself a bit of money. So it's free to enter. A little offer there. Thank you from Fantasy Feeder. So get signed up in the video description, and hopefully we'll try and do more of that for you as the season goes on. Because the bigger the United stand gets, the more approaches we get from people, and as long as it's something that's going to be available that suits you lot, then we will do it. And as I say, that is a free £5 entry into that. Bit of fantasy football if you like it. You could win yourself a bit of money. You can also enter up to 5 teams in each league as well. I forgot to say that. Rooney is apparently going to go to Everton. That is getting closer and closer. To be honest, I don't care if he goes to Evesham. As long as he leaves Manchester United this summer. I think tomorrow is going to be very interesting as to whether he plays or not. Surely it'll be his last game at Manchester United. Matic, apparently we've moved away from Eric Dyer and we now want Matic, another Chelsea player who is also 29 in August. He is 6'4", Matic, which is obviously very big, which is exactly why Mourinho would like him. He likes these big Fellaini type players. I mean, Matic is a centre defensive midfielder who's obviously better than Fellaini. He's good in the tackle, very good at pressing, feeds the ball to the better players. To be honest, Matic just isn't my sort of player. I've got no problem if people like Matic, but he's just not my sort of player. He doesn't interest me. I don't like his style of play. I find him a bit slow and cumbersome. But if Mourinho rates him. I wouldn't like him to come to United, and I hope there's nothing in that. Willian, I would. Matic, I wouldn't. He's not somebody that interests me at all, really. And also, I just wanted to touch on a couple of people. I've written these down so I feed them out correctly. But just talking about Monaco and Fabinho and Mbappe, apparently we are interested in 16-year-old Monaco sensation Benoit Badiashile, who is a centre-back. He's 16 years of age. He's not even played for Monaco yet. Manchester United are chasing him. They'd like to sign him. Look, Manchester United are doing massive things. When Mourinho came in, he recruited a lot of scouts. And Manchester United, in response to Manchester City, and Manchester City are setting up a really good youth system. Mourinho, the first thing he did, and Van Gaal tried to do it as well, is sort out the youth system and the youth recruitment at Manchester United. And we are buying up decent talent around Europe. I mean, right back to Fosu Mensah with Van Gaal. He was purchased. Tahith Chong in the last year, we've brought him in from Feyenoord. We're after this Monaco lad, and we have actually signed somebody from Espanyol this week. I don't know whether it's been confirmed, but a lot of people saying it is. Anwar Pigmol from Espanyol, 16 years of age. Espanyol are absolutely furious. I think Manchester City wanted him as well. Very strong, creative midfielder. Looks like a real talent. Another young player coming into Manchester United, and there are a lot of these signings going off at the moment. You know, we've probably done about 5 or 6 in the last 12 months. Really well scouted, good young talents from around Europe. Unfortunately, they're not UK based. I'd like to see more UK players coming through Manchester United. I'd love to see us get some Irish, Scottish, Welsh players coming through again. But it's young talent, and it's young talent coming to Manchester United. So that is of interest. We needed to sort that out. We were lagging behind Manchester City. You've heard it before. People like Van Persie's kid training with Man City when he was playing for Manchester United. I mean, what's going on there? There has been a lapse at Manchester United's youth, but we are addressing that lapse, and it's good to hear. Like I say, I'd rather we were scouting UK talent, but it's very difficult to do that these days. I mean, only Liverpool got a ban, didn't they, the other week? I haven't looked into it for a while, but I think it's based on area in the UK. You can't just go and scout somebody from Cornwall. So it's quite restrictive, whereas Europe's a little bit more open than that. But yeah, lots discussed on this show. James Rodriguez, look, that deal is open, and I really do feel it's dependent on Wednesday, which is a massive, massive game. Fabinho, I'm disappointed about, I've got to be honest, but I'm not the manager. You're not the manager. Mourinho's the manager, and in the transfer window last year, he was fantastic. So we've got to trust him, and I hope he's got somebody else. I hope it's not Bakayoko. I just have a bad feeling about Bakayoko. I could be proven wrong, but he just looks a bit slow to me and lethargic, and he doesn't seem to read the play that well. And in the Premier League, he could get exposed. I like Fabinho. Apparently, we have signed a 16-year-old centre midfielder from Porto, says Jack Mullen. I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't read that, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Sean Maguire's in the Irish League, says Richard Lee. Van Persie kid, not good enough for us, says Moment. And when Brexit happens, they will have to be homegrown because EU nationals won't get work permits for youth football, says Griezmann MEFC. Jared wants us to get Willian, Bakayoko, James and Oblak if De Gea leaves. I'm not made up on Bakayoko. What about Gareth Bale, says FAK. Well, what about Gareth Bale? That could happen at some point, but we'll have to wait and see. I agree with Edwin. I think Bakayoko looks clumsy. Manchester United should buy a legendary defender. Mendy is off to Liverpool, says Cocktob. And Wazzy Khan says Bakayoko is just another Fellaini. And Matic has a long shot and a half on him, Chad. I think you're just saying that because of the final, aren't you? But it was a good goal. And Man City have a 2-year youth ban. Yeah, Ben Anderson, they do. Which is also what United in the Stands Chance says. And UK players aren't good enough. Buy a good defender. Look, there's loads going to go on in relation to the transfer news. I think we've covered quite a lot today there. I am disappointed about Fabinho. Rodriguez in the balance. Willian I'd be happy with. I know some of you wouldn't. It's all about opinion. That's what the United Stand's all about. Apologies for those who were joining me a little bit early. I know I had to cancel it twice live. I've got a problem with my lighting. I don't know why. I think it's been messing up today. I'll sort that out for later. I'm not doing a tactics preview on the Mark Goldbridge channel tonight because what's the point? We don't even know what the team is. It's last game of the season. There's not a lot to be learnt from that. So I'm going to do a live link on the United Stand, which I don't normally do on a Saturday night. I'm open to ideas. Leave them below. Q&A, any particular topic. It will be about, I think I'll do it at 8 instead of half 8, and we'll do a good half an hour. So we're just going to do a show on the United Stand, a bonus show at 8 o'clock tonight. So please do drop a like on the video. Support the channel. Look, you support us when things are going well. When we have technical difficulties, it's more important that you support us because there's nowhere to hide when you're live. Another one of my sayings. One to the left foot for Rodriguez. Every midfielder I like is tenacious and there's nowhere to hide when you're live. But if you want to watch Mark Goldbridge's channel, I played Mad Marcus yesterday at FIFA. One of the best goals I've ever scored from my own half in that. It was very funny. I will be back at 8 o'clock tonight. Do get yourself signed up on the Fantasy Feeder link, second paragraph video description. It's free, £5. If you like fantasy football, it's free. You can do it on your desktop. You can do it on your mobile phone as an app. I think it's going to be a great thing for us to do next season. We're trialling it out, obviously, for this last weekend of the season. But it's not just Premier League. They've got other leagues that you can do it for as well, which I'll certainly be partaking in. My username is Goldbridge, and you can watch back and see what I've on. I think that'll be a good laugh, and we'll see if any of you win tomorrow. But yeah, like, subscribe, share, says Beck. Thanks, everybody. Gremlins in the system, but we got there. I should have just said live at 11:30 instead of 11. But lots and lots to discuss. Love doing the transfer shows. If you do enjoy the transfer shows, just drop a like on the video. And I'll see you all tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm leaning towards a bit of a Manchester United Q&A, interaction with the live comments. But if you've got any ideas, pop back off the live, or if you're not watching live, and leave them below and I'll have a read. But we will be live at 8 o'clock tonight. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon. And don't forget to sign up on the Fantasy Football Game.